Hey guys, and welcome back. This is going to be a video about via stitching. And so this is actually a board from one of the Contextual Electronics Session 1 members, and she's been working on connecting a top plane and a bottom plane. So if we turn off the bottom plane, we see that there's a ground plane drawn here, and then there's also a ground plane on the bottom side. And basically, she's connecting it through a single trace here. And basically the idea is a single via is going to cause some inductance issues effectively. If you only have one via, that's going to actually introduce some inductance just because it's a single wire path. And we want to lower that inductance as much as possible because that's going to give any noise that happens to be in the ground plane an easy path to return to its source. So if there's noise radiating from this, we want to be able to, we want the noise to be able to get through the high frequency noise to be able to flow through the ground plane as easily as possible in order to get back to the source. So we want to lower the inductance, and we're going to do that by actually via stitching this top copper plane to the bottom copper plane. And this is kind of a non-intuitive way of doing things, but you'll see this in a lot of PCBs. In fact, some of the ones that we've gone over in the past have actually had this as well. So what we're going to do here is first I'm going to actually edit this footprint, edit parameters here. And the reason I'm going to do that, I'm going to change it to a thermal relief. It's currently set at the default, which is solid. And then we're going to redraw here. That kind of shows it like that. Now it doesn't fill in as much, and we might actually want to switch it back later, but it just kind of helps with this discussion here. So it has a thermal relief now, and you can change all those parameters as well. What we're going to do is basically we want to put a bunch of vias in this thermal plane here. So we're going to start drawing a trace from layer 4, or sorry, what I have hotkeyed is 4, but it should be 1. Anyways, so we start drawing a trace, and then what we do is basically we start dropping vias from the top side to the bottom side, and then this allows us to create a wide range of vias. Now, it looks a little weird, right? Because it looks like we're actually drawing traces on the top and bottom side. But what ends up happening here is because those traces are on the same plane as the actual pores, that it will just basically swallow those up. I'm going to stop here, and I'm going to actually delete this connection here as well, because that actually will do it on its own. So we start tracing again here. We want to be on the layer. That's weird. Layer 1. Must be drawing it oddly, but okay. So drop another via, another via. We're basically going to just stitch all of these ground planes together. And what this ends up being is, we could add another set of vias here. It's probably starts to be a bit excessive here. Let's just leave that. And basically what ends up happening is you see, now I'm going to delete these actually. So you just see these traces now. And basically all the way around here, now we could, like I said, we could fill in this area as well. There ends up being vias that stitch the top layer to the bottom layer. These are actually, so this is a ground plane layer, and this is a ground plane layer. So now if we hit fill in, we shouldn't see any change in this layer. So we see that it actually doesn't end up changing where the connection, and it doesn't basically hollow out around those vias because they're all the same net. And so, like I said, we could also end up doing this all the way through here as well, but we won't, just because you start actually running into some of the layer limit or the drill limits from manufacturers. You're only allowed, usually a typical is like 300 drills per square inch. So if you were in a high density area with a lot of vias, you could start to violate that by having a lot of vias here. But what this ends up doing is basically these two ground planes are now stitched together pretty effectively. You have a lot of different points here in order to get to connect those two vias together, and maybe we'd even do it over here as well. But now those vias are actually going to connect those two ground planes together. Now if we do, well, I guess we could do a plot real quick. Let's see. So we want top layer, bottom layer. We want source screen. We want, that should be good actually. Okay, so we'll plot those. Wrong directory. There we go, change that directory and plot. There we go, generate the drill file. Okay, and then let's open this up. in the correct directory here. Okay, there we go. And Gerbers, and open up all of these, and then the drill. We should see now, hopefully this all works. Yes, so we see, I'm going to turn off this information. So now we see the top layer purple, the bottom layer green, and then the overlap gray. And then basically we can turn off different layers if we wanted to. I'm not sure what the, oh, there we go. There's the vias layer. So there's the via layer. So those two layers are effectively stitched together now. Hopefully you can see all that stuff. All right, so that's basically how you do via stitching. And if you want to do two planes together, this is a top plane layer here and a bottom plane layer here. But we could also, if you just had a single pour, you could also do it in there. If you were just trying to do like a heat sink or something like that, or if you want to do, some kind of thermal relief as well, you could do that. So that's all for now. Thanks for watching.